Hi, my name is Richard Bodie, and we're going to be looking at this question of what is STEM as a part of Module 1, as a part of the Millersville graduate course. First off, just a little of my professional background. I graduated from Millersville in 2009 with a degree in elementary education and a focus in science. From there, I taught in Harford County, Maryland as a 4th grade teacher for 4 years and a 5th grade teacher for 1. And then now I've been, for the last 3 years, teaching in Penn Manor as a 6th grade teacher. In my role there, I've served on math curriculum committees and currently the science curriculum committee. A little of my personal background, you see me on the far right, my wife on the left. We're both educators. She's a high school English teacher. On the side there, avid riders, bike riders, and ones that have to earn their downhills on dirt and road. And I'm also a tech geek, so I have a drone that I use with job at school. I created this Venn diagram to describe how I view STEM in my classroom. You have mathematics and science with their own distinct circles. And this represents their distinct disciplinary focuses in our school district. So they have their own times, their own laid out curriculum. But I do try to create as much overlap as possible. And that overlap often involves engineering and technology. Just some examples of the kinds of projects I do with my kids in that overlap. They create anemometers, which they create from everyday household materials. And they use a lot of our math with rates and ratios to create this anemometer and be able to actually use it to measure real-life wind speeds. I also do a project called Bungee Barbie, and I'll link to some details in the description. And I also have my students create 2-liter bottle rockets. I love what Rob Stevenson said in his TED Talk. He said, greatest thinkers value 2 traits, curiosity and persistence. And I believe a lot of the tasks that I described a second ago involve that. And what I find is, just as he found, when you bring all these areas of STEM together in a meaningful way, students demonstrate persistence, they demonstrate curiosity, and they're engaged and willing to give up anything to accomplish that task. The need for an engaging STEM curriculum is necessary given the significant role STEM is currently playing and will continue to play in our nation and world. For example, 80% of the fastest growing occupations in the U.S. rely on STEM mastery of STEM content. As of 2012, there were 3.6 unemployed workers for every available job. But if you look at STEM workers, every 1 unemployed STEM worker, there were 2 available jobs. We need more individuals with a STEM background in our workforce. And we need a basic literacy to be able to take on our next great challenge, which is global warming. It's going to require a more informed populace capable of understanding research and using their fields of expertise to help engage with this challenge. Now, just a couple quick stats on that last one. Currently, 64% of Americans show a great deal or fair amount of concern about climate change. Compare that with 98% of scientists, according to a study I'll link in the description, who not only believe it's a serious threat, but also believe that humans caused it, showing we need a greater increase in STEM literacy among our students. So what should our goals be when we're looking at STEM? First, to expand not just the number of individuals who pursue further study in STEM fields, but also increase the diversity of individuals in these STEM fields. So we're talking about minorities and women. Second, to develop a workforce, which I mentioned about earlier, capable of tackling the demands of STEM-related careers. And third, to develop that literacy we mentioned with STEM fields among all students to create a more informed populace capable of understanding a more STEM-centric world, whether we're talking about global warming, whether we're talking about cybersecurity, or any of these other big issues that our world currently faces. Now, how do we measure whether schools are actually meeting those goals? First, we have standardized assessments, so PSSA Science or Keystone assessments. Now, these are useful, but they don't tell the whole story. They don't show the interest developed in pursuing STEM-related fields. And so that could be done by looking at percentage of students who go to pursue STEM-related fields, information we can gather about our schools. We also can look at the development of soft skills such as cooperation, communication, perseverance, and creativity, and seeing how those are developed. So educational practices promote a successful STEM program. First, provide experiences for students to engage in the practices of science by tackling some of those engaging problems and utilizing all 4 branches of STEM. A more focused and rigorous curriculum that aligns with a common set of standards. By having a more focused and rigorous curriculum, you raise the level of expectation for students, and students step up to that expectation. Third, to hire and train educators who are highly trained in STEM education. I know in the elementary level, there's a large number of elementary educators who don't feel as confident in mathematics or in science. A supportive system that provides educators with the time to meet the curriculum in an engaging way. And equal access for all, including but not limited to technical equipment, professional development, and eliminating ability tracking in primary and intermediate grades. Tracking students at young primary grades sets them on a track to lower achievement. We want to make sure that all students have opportunities to engage with high-level, challenging tasks. So last couple of personal reflections. So for myself, I mentioned the ways that I incorporate STEM in my classroom. I do it through engaging challenges and projects that parallel with the curriculum. I provide opportunities for makerspaces in my classroom where students can engage with all 4 disciplines through engaging challenges and projects. And last, I've been developing school-wide events. So the Bottle Rockets I mentioned is going to be a school-wide event where students from every grade can come, design a bottle rocket with their parents, launch it off, and get some great data that they can analyze using their math skills. So my goals for this course are first, to gain access to more resources to help enhance my current STEM instruction. Next, to gain understanding of the vertical and horizontal planning of science curriculum. And last, to gain understanding of the direction STEM education is taking in the United States, to look more from a historical perspective and see what's really going on in the education world with regard to STEM.